midway through the World Economic Forum Annual Summit in Davos, where one of the key themes this year has been how to build more inclusive workplaces, communities, and economies. On Monday, the forum released its 2018 Inclusive Development Index, where it showed that global economies, they have grown their GDP at 5.3%, but during the same period, that is 2012 to 2016, on an average, the inclusion number has grown only 0.01%. Now that number in itself is self-explanatory why there is so much focus on inclusion. Sunita Cherian, who's Senior Vice President, Corporate Human Resources at Wipro, she's with us right now to talk about how companies like us are putting in a lot more commitment and urgency into being able to create more inclusive workplaces. Sunita, you've been here for a couple of days now and you've spoken to various stakeholders and your peers as well. Doesn't it surprise you that people are still talking about having a business case for having inclusion as one of their business priorities?
Absolutely. So, every panel that I've gone to, people are still justifying in terms of what's the business case, why do we need to do it, is it compliance, is it that competition is doing it? To me, the most meaningful of them all is it's just the right thing to do. I mean, just think about it. If you were to teach your child honesty, it's because you value honesty. It's not because you need to follow that through with a business case for why they should be honest, but just that you lead through example, and in my mind, that's the same case with inclusion.
It's not just about gender, right? It's about age, it's about cognitive diversity, it's about identity diversity. It's the whole lot, right? And one of the things that I've noticed is that possibly it works better if there are one or two areas or challenges where you focus your attention on. Would you agree that's the right approach?
I would completely agree with that. So let's take the example of Wipro. So we started with gender, we moved on to persons with disability, nationality, we're talking LGBT right now. So I think we should just take those baby steps and ensure that we do a good job of whichever pillar of diversity we've set out. So to elaborate a little more, if I look at gender diversity, it's not about actions which you take which just paints all women issues with the same brush, right? So we've gone about it with a life stage approach, which has really helped us, because girls who are getting out of colleges, what you need to do is to inspire them to, fuel their ambition, show them the role models and tell them that any dream is possible. Second life stage, we agree, it's a little bit more in terms of I've gotten married, I've got a child, how do I manage both work and home? And I think corporations must step in here, because a little flexibility, a little bit of accommodation there goes a long way in helping to retain them in the organization. And the last life stage, we believe, is about empowerment, because that's a stage where work has to be meaningful enough for them to come to work every day and contribute.
Absolutely. And people don't just need to be different. They also need to feel that they are being welcomed, their voices are being heard. Because I think that inclusion propels innovation. Do you think that possibly homogeny is the biggest enemy to innovation?
Diversity without having the element of inclusion is a story of missed opportunity. So if people think that, yes, I will have the check in the boxes and my job is done, well, they would not have achieved. It's not a sustainable model. So if you really need a strong foundation, then it has to be built on the principles of including people from all strata.
Sure.
So you can have your demographics looking good, but if people don't bring their whole selves to work, then those ideas, those perspectives which really fuel innovation would be lost.
Absolutely. And just the point you make about, people being able to bring their whole selves to work. So it's not just about feeling included, but also the fact that you're accepted and your voice is being heard, right? And I think that inclusion possibly is the first step towards innovation, right? Are there some things that we are doing that you're really proud about in being able to drive innovation through an inclusive workplace?
So, you've heard enough and more examples externally about innovation happening by some person with a disability, women, the younger generation. And I think that's the same thing that we reflect in Wipro as well. So if you look at it, there's no more innovation that's been done in an R&D lab. It is those young kids who've come out from campuses who could be sitting anywhere across the globe, who could be responding to some challenges that technology has enabled us, as a result of which it really doesn't matter where you are, who you are, as much as have you been able to clear those innovation filters that we've set in, and those ideas are just acceptable and they move on.
Indeed, the path to a shared future is built on inclusion. Sunita, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Bianca.